Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, September 30th, 2021, last day of September, guys. We're getting very close to marathon time. For those of you running London this weekend, or Chicago in 2 weekends, or Boston also in 2 weekends, it is a crazy time. Or I guess people running the Baltimore Marathon as well. Lots of marathons happening. I think the Lakefront Marathon in Milwaukee's happening, I think, next week. Is that right? I think that's right. And then we've also got, I think, Tiger Claws this weekend, too. Lots of stuff happening. Can you guys hear me all right? Can I get a quick check-in from everyone in the chat here? I'm trying some new things here today, hoping that they work. Sounds a little bit different than I normally sound, I think. But let me make sure that you guys can hear me. And I'm just going to keep going, assuming that you guys do. But I'll keep an eye on the chat in case you guys cannot hear me. I do want to say, in the meantime, hi to everyone listening on the podcast version. Hopefully you're hearing me as well. Having a beautiful weather run out there today. I had a beautiful weather for my run as well. And the weather is just so nice right now. There's a little bit of a headwind, but it was real nice on the way back for the tail end. All right. Thanks, everybody, for letting me know that you guys can hear me okay. Regan says it's super quiet, but it might just be him. All right, let me turn that up a little bit then. All right, I got it cranked up a little bit higher. Let me know if that works a little bit better for you guys. Okay, so let's, I almost forgot to say hi to everyone listening on YouTube and watching after the fact. Hopefully you guys are sitting back and relaxing with a nice recovery beverage, especially because right now it's happy hour for us here. It's a little early in the day for happy hour, but, Thursday's happy hour. That's what I like to do. And today what I'm trying is something very confusing. It's called RxSugar. Let's see. I got it in the swag bag for the Chicago Half Marathon. It's too small. I'm not going to get focus on it. RxSugar. There. That's the best focus I can get. And it's weird. So it's got 0 on it. 0 calories, 0 net carbs, 0 glycemic. It's just nutritious sugar, clean and functional. Am I supposed to drink this am I supposed to use this as sugar, or is this a drink? I thought this was a recovery drink. I think it just might be sugar. Is that what this is? I think I'm using it wrong. Maybe I won't drink it today then. I don't know, because I thought it was supposed to taste like something. Maybe I need to get some coffee instead and put it in my coffee and see if it tastes like sugar. I think we're going to have to reevaluate, guys. It just occurred to me. Does anyone know what this stuff is? Has anyone tried this before? Because I'm looking at the back of it, and it's got 0 calories, 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, 0 sodium, 4 grams of carbs, but 4 grams of allulose as well. So, I think, is that what's going on? I think that's what's going on. I'm supposed to use this as a sugar substitute. I thought it was an electrolyte drink. Let me see. Is my coffee over here? All right. I've got my afternoon coffee. So I was going to put it in this water. And have as an electrolyte drink, but I think it's sugar. Yeah, Adam Steve says, I'm usually good at sugar math, but I'm not sure that adds up. I'm not sure this adds up either. I don't know. We got to figure it out. I'll keep looking at what you guys say in case anyone has had experience with this. All right, let's say hi to everyone real quick before we dive into that, who's listening in on the chat. We got David Prabhu who's here, says, good afternoon, co-fam. What's going on, David? And Jeff Ellie says, I ordered a kicker refurb and obsessively researching everything. So excited. That sounds awesome. I don't know where I'd put mine, but I want to get one. I want to get one for the winter. I want to do a lot of that. When, some of the real nasty winter months, when it's super dark and I don't feel like getting out there. There's sometimes I just love getting out there. I love winter running, but there's definitely going to be times where it's just going to be I don't know about this, guys. And hitting the kicker, I think, will be a lot of fun. Vivek Bala is here. Adam Steve says, the Path Project's Christmas and this non-elite shirt look even better in person. Cheers, go. Awesome, Adam. Thanks so much for picking one up. That's so cool. I'm glad you like it. Neon001 says, hi, everyone. What's going on, Neon? Jason Dahl says, hi, everyone. Interesting what nutritious sugar is. Also, my favorite Cold Fuzzy Path short sleeve is being delivered today. I was so excited. I couldn't get the words out. So right now I'm using this new thing. A new USB interface for the podcast. And before I forget, I want to play around with it a little bit. So one of the things it has the ability to interface with the microphones and put it into live streams and stuff. Also has the ability to hook up with a couple of other microphones and independently record and all those things. So in case I want to do in-person podcasts or interviews. It has that. But it also has a sound pad, and I haven't figured out how to get my sounds on it yet, but here's some default ones. You guys ready for some default sounds? Here's one of the default sounds. You hear that? And welcome back to the podcast. See, I think that's how you're supposed to use that, right? So it's got a default sound. Here's another one. Whoa, welcome back from the break, everybody. So I'd like to say, I think how that works. And then there's this one. Yay, that makes me feel nice. And then as soon as I let go of the button, it stops. I could do a little bit of applause, or I could do a lot. Whoa, there's a lot. And then there's this one for when I tell a dad joke. Oh, I could change the volume on that. I'm just trying to figure out a way to get my own sounds assigned to that so we can get some cowbells in there and the word of the day sound. So we got to do that. So playing around with some stuff. I'll get it sorted out. All right. Jackie Mai says, hey, Gafuzi, how is tapering? Tapering is going well, I think. I had my, so I've been doing 2 workouts a week plus a long run. So for the taper, I think I'm going to do 1 session a week plus a long-ish run. That's, a shorter long run. Today was the workout day, even though Thursday is not usually a workout day for me. He was doing Wednesday and Friday, but instead I'm going to do Thursday. And then other days I might do some strides with my runs. But I did a 5x5, 5 times 5 minutes on and 1 minute off at threshold. And it felt really good out there. I was working for the ones that were into the headwind, but on the way back with the tailwind, it just felt great. It felt like I was cruising. So really good, mentally and physically. I felt like really tired in my core. So I still feel like there's some lingering effects from the half marathon over the weekend, but overall feeling good. Nothing so far. I'm not in the mystery pain phase of, or phantom pain phase of taper yet. So I think I'm doing good so far. All right. Stevie76 says, yo, what's going on? And JC says, adding production value. I'm trying to get it to the, to be somewhat respectable. So that's the idea. So, all right. So let's get to some of this RxSugar. So I'm guessing it was, so it's not an electrolyte drink, which is, I'm just in that mindset. I'm a hammer and a nail, and everything I see that comes in a little sleeve is electrolyte drink to me. But I'm guessing since there isn't a flavor that's listed on here or anything, so, I don't know. I guess the test is, does this taste like sugar? All right, so let's get it open. I think it's just supposed to be a sugar substitute. I don't think there's supposed to be any flavor to it. I'm trying to think. Oh, I can't show you, it looks like sugar. It's just like a powder. Put it in my coffee. I know what my coffee tastes like, so let's get this in there. It's kind of clumpy. I didn't make a very good opening in the top of this package. All right, there we go. I got 1 sugar in my afternoon coffee. We'll give it a little bit of stir, and I'll let you guys know if it just tastes like sugar, I guess. I guess, unless you have, a glucose monitor, which, I was working with a company to see if I can get one of those glucose monitors, but the terms didn't quite work out, so I'm not going to be doing that project. And the terms weren't about money. The terms were about control over the video. But, so I guess I wouldn't know if this just has no glycemic effect at all. I guess we'll see if it tastes like sugar in my coffee. I don't know. I don't feel like I taste anything in it. This is a weird product. It's like a big swing and a miss. Is it supposed to be sugar? There's no flavor to it, so I don't know why you would put it in anything. My coffee's strong, but it's not that strong. I use a K-cup. So it's not like I brewed it like crazy or anything. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, I can't taste it at all. So I don't know. Has anyone else tried this RxSugar stuff? If you've tried it, tell me how you're using it, because I'm using it wrong, clearly. I'm not using it the right way. Jeff Elliott says, it's allulose, so it's just a plant-based 0-calorie sweetener. I guess it's kind of like, is it in I don't know if it's chemically related to stevia, but stevia is kind of like that too. It's a plant, and it sweetens things, but it doesn't have a glycemic effect. So I don't know. I'm not really sure how any of the sugar math works, but The coffee tasted like coffee. I guess it tasted a little bit sweeter. I don't know. It's not supposed to be like Splenda, but I don't know what makes it nutritious sugar either. Because it says on the packaging, it says nutritious sugar is the top one. But I don't know what nutrients I'm getting in here because everything else is 0. And it seems like that's like a theme for them, is the 0. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. This one's a big question mark. I thought I'd get some answers trying it, but I don't know. Let's see. Sai wants to know, are you on a desktop or on a laptop, Kofuzi? I'm on a laptop that's on the kitchen or on the dining room table. So like I don't think I've owned a desktop computer in maybe, I don't know, 25 years? Something like that. I'm trying to think. No, I bought one for my in-laws. I'm trying to think. I think I've bought some for some other people too, but I don't think I've had a desktop for a long time. All right. Philip Bourne is also thinking about getting a kicker. It's at least less noisy than a treadmill, and I have to consider the neighbors under me. Yeah, I think so too. And then there's no pounding too, because it's, you know, it's a bike, no impact. So I think that would also probably work better. And I'm trying to think of it from, you know, I'd be working out in the morning before everyone's awake. And I feel like that would be a lot quieter than a treadmill would be. I don't know. Jonathan Crossley, welcome back, Jonathan. Good to see you again. Says 12.4 miles this morning, and my Garmin said it was a good recovery run. Definitely did not push the pace on heart rate, but anyone else gets similar readings? Yeah, someone was saying, oh, yeah, Jonathan, it was Jonathan saying, trying not to put too much credence in the Garmin feedback. Yeah, I mean, I think that, yeah, if you, a good recovery one is one that you feel great afterwards. 12.4 miles is a long time, a little bit for a recovery run. But if your heart rate's staying low the entire time, and if you're sure that that heart rate reading is accurate, then I'd say it was a good recovery run. So, you know, you don't need the watch to tell you that part. I guess unless you're at the point where you felt like you were pushing hard, but it still said you were, that's where I feel like I would be concerned. If it felt like it was you were working hard or moderately, and it told you it was a good recovery run, then I'd be like, oh, what's going on with that? So, yeah. All right. Jeff says, it seems like there are no nutrients, so I'd balk at calling it nutrition. I guess it isn't bad for you if you're a diabetic, which is good for people that are. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, it was a product that was in a race bag, you know? So that's why I feel like, I don't know, other things that were in the race kit, and so maybe I'll eat this today, because I wanted to go over some of the other stuff that was in that bag, is this, a RX bar. I'm sure you guys have all had it. This one is 3 egg whites, 6 almonds, 4 cashews, 2 dates, and no BS. So maybe I'll have that one today. And then it also came with this. There was just some like random like branded stuff in there. A Verizon towel. I like towels like these though, as much as I'm making fun of this. I do just like general like towel / shamey type things like this. When I'm on like a bike or if I go to a gym, not all gyms have towel service. So like, you know, sometimes you got to bring your own towel, and I like having little stuff like this, or this is kind of stuff that's good for in the car if I'm super gross. So like, it's nice to kind of have a couple of those lying around. And then there was of course like the long sleeve shirt from the race, and then a pair of, I don't know, my daughters took them. A pair of just generic like Wayfarer style glasses that just said Capital One on the side. No like co-branding with the race or even Chicago or anything, just Capital One sunglasses and a Verizon sweat rag. So that was it. All right, there was a math question up here earlier. Let me see if I can get to that one. What was that? Did I just get, how did I get it? I just heard my phone. Oh, that was my phone. I was like, it sounded like the phone was on the mic, but I don't know. All right, where did that question go? I'm going to scroll up. Sorry, guys. Andrew Pata. Sorry, I'm chewing. That's a bad habit, especially in front of a microphone. Andrew Pata says, hi, Co. We returned to a strict math block after CIM. We had the same age, same speed, and had roughly the same first wave of math. Returned to it after traditional training blocks. Now doing 815 easy. Yeah, I think so. I think so because, yeah. I mean, I think two workouts a week plus a long run with marathon paces in there is probably not strictly math. Um, but I do think that, Maffetone talks a lot about how like a lot of the elite athletes do all Maffetone, uh, low heart rate running, but they tend to race frequently. And that's always like the big vague part of it, is like, what does race frequently mean? And so it's kind of like racing is like a cheat day in Maffetone and it's treated really weird. I feel like that's the part of like the whole system that needs a little bit more structure and more fleshing out. And I always wish that there would be someone that would like write a book on training about it that was like, all right, racing frequently. What does that mean? What's the equivalent of that if you don't want to pay $50 every weekend to race a 10K? So like so that's what strictly Maffetone is or isn't once you're training and doing something that's not just kind of like the onboarding process, I think is a little bit vague. But what I'm doing is probably a little bit more race specific work than that. But I think that ultimately after, what is going on with my phone? I think I'm getting a lot of messages about refunds from AT&T that I'm supposed to be getting or other spam email. Do you guys get that too? It always worries me when I'm getting a bunch of texts at once because I worry that someone's trying to get in touch with me. It's spam. But after, well, it depends. So after CM, I don't have anything booked. One of the things I'm looking at is Black Canyon. I haven't signed up for it. I don't know if there's still spaces available, but that's a 100K. And for that, I'd probably do a real long, like a vast majority of miles at Maffetone pace or maybe even easier, with maybe some hill work. If I get on a trail for like my long run on the weekend, just like kind of just doing like some harder efforts up the hills. And that would kind of basically be the way that I train for it. I would maybe have some threshold days, but not like a ton of them. So like that would be one thing. The other thing that, I've been thinking about is trying to do like a winter triathlon. So if I'm training for that, maybe I would, or maybe I wouldn't do any race specific training for like a 5K part of a sprint triathlon and just kind of leave that as the running that I'm doing training for a 100K as part of the run training for that sprint triathlon. So I'm not sure, but the winter time for me is usually time for a lot of just like easy running, getting in whatever miles you can. Temperatures are brutal. Conditions are usually gross. So that's something that I probably will do a lot more of. So I would like to be at 8:15 for my lower heart rate running right now. I mean, when I'm fresher, some days, there's times where it hits 8:15, even closer to 8 for brief moments. But, not moments, but like for short stretches of time. But generally speaking, if I'm in the middle of a training block, my easy runs, I don't normally go up to the top of my Maffetone number, but that number is probably closer to like 8:30 to 8, if I'm on a heavy load. But most of my easy runs, I'm doing at like 9 minutes a mile just to keep it nice and chill. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So it'll be interesting to see if I get back to that. But, by the time I get to CIM, this year, the training blocks have been weird and varied, but I've kind of been training for something since like March, whether it was an 8K time trial with the Shamrock Shuffle virtual or a 10K time trial, half virtual, half marathons, 50Ks, steeplechases. So like, I don't feel like I've been constantly like just building without a break for the last, 6 months, but I've been in some sort of plan or another for the last 6 months. And so like, by the time I get to December, I'm gonna be ready for just like no plan, just every day go out there and take it easy. I think I'll be ready for that then. Although for now, I'm ready to do some work, Jay Preza says, t-shirt just came in. Woo, awesome, Jay Preza. Thanks so much. Very cool. All right, I've been rambling for a long time. I'm going to scroll back down to the bottom here. MC1796 says, this RxSugar thing, I think its product is literally just for people who find it to drink plain water. It's advertised as a weight loss benefit with a lot of nonsense attached. Yeah, that's not, I thought it was going to be like Crystal Light. Because like, if it's something for runners, there would at least be electrolytes in it to be like new, right? But there was no electrolytes in it. So I'm like, I don't know what this is. But I don't know. I couldn't really taste it in my coffee. I don't know. Maybe I was supposed to put it in my water. It didn't say there's no listing for a flavor on the package anywhere. So I'm like, I don't know what this is. I've seen them before in other race bags, but I usually just throw it away. But I thought I'd give it a try today. I guess that was a mistake. Martha says about phone spam. Phone spam is always from my old Ohio area code. I know if it's spam if it has that area code. I report everyone to my call filter. Do you do that? I feel like that's like it doesn't work, right? I don't know if it does or doesn't. I just don't. Because I feel like I don't know. It's just like, it's not going to work. I don't know. I don't like phone call. I really don't like phone calls. And no, I don't like texts either because of spam. Spam ruins everything. Jonathan Crossley says, I grew up in Niagara Falls. Winters were awful. Here in Vegas, where I am now, it's the flip. Summers can be tough, but late fall, winter, and early spring are gold. Oh, yeah, I imagine. Are there races in Las Vegas? Like in January or something like that? I don't know. Tryboy Try says, I've started doing the Yasso 800 workout once every 2 weeks now. Are you finding it beneficial? Yeah, I like it. I like it because it is a long period of work. And so like from like a VO2 max perspective, I feel like I don't usually do a lot of work that's near VO2 max for 3 minutes at a time. When I do like Jack Daniels programming for VO2 max, the rests are shorter. And I think for me, doing the Yasso 800 at 305, the rests are a little bit too long, but it makes for a nice, there's simplicity to it, there's circularity to it. But like doing VO2 max level work for 3 minutes at a time, I think is really good from a mental perspective, and also just from like getting your body like acclimated to that level of work. I feel like that's important. But I think that if you're looking at it from strictly like a VO2 max perspective, I don't know if it's a workout. I think it's like one of those workouts you could put on the calendar and be like, this will be like a test day, like a benchmarking kind of day. But I think that if you're really going for a VO2 max benefit, I do think some of like the Jack Daniels workouts may be a little bit more specifically suited for that, where the intervals are closer to like 2 minutes in length. And you're running a little bit faster, like 1 to 2 minutes in length and running a little bit faster. Because the way he does it is sometimes there's 800s in there, but it's a lot of 400s and 200s for the VO2 max work, and manipulating the rests so that way that heart rate stays at that right spot. So I'm not sure. I think for the CIM training block, I think that I'll probably have one Yasso 800 day. But I think that I'll have other VO2 max days that are, would be like on the same day of the week that I would put a Yasso 800 in, but with some shorter recoveries, but also some shorter distances on the reps. So like, I like it, but I like the Yasso 800 way more than I like the Rosario 800. The Rosario 800 was brutal. I'd rather they would have done a 5K time trial, but that Rosario 800 was really tough. But it's also like, I don't love 200s. So like I'd rather do the Yasso 800 than a bunch of 200s too. So I don't know. Well, maybe I don't know. I'll have to do some deep soul searching on that one as I put the next marathon training block together. All right. Run Tommy says, I noticed in my own marathon training, when I slowed down the speed work, I got better in the marathon. I think most people do their speed work too fast. I mean, I think that, I think that there's kind of like 2 levels of speed work for distance runners, right? And I think that a lot of times people, when they're running to pace, I don't think that they distinguish them very well. And I think that there's threshold workouts and then there's VO2 max workouts, right? And so like the threshold workout should be like in between half marathon pace and 10K pace. And then VO2 max stuff should ideally be at about like, Jack Daniels says it's supposed to be at 2 mile pace. Most of us have no idea what 2 mile pace is, but somewhere between mile pace and 5K pace. And so like that, they say that like doing that will get you to heart rate levels and other like kind of like blood gas levels that are going to be reliably within the zones that you want to train. And I think that works for a lot of the speed work. I think that if people are doing like, 200s, there's a lot of reasons why I don't like them. They hurt. And I also think that a lot of times I overdo it. I'm running too hard and I don't feel like I'm getting, what is this dog doing? I don't think I'm getting the exact workout that I think that I need to be getting, Frank says the VO2 max workouts are a waste of time for marathon training. There was a time where I would have wholeheartedly agreed with you. And Frank goes on to say 800 should be threshold workout. And I would have said that, a marathoner, it wasn't long ago where I've been like, a marathoner does not need to be on a track ever. And I think that you don't really need to be on a track ever still. But I do think that the VO2 max does help with getting you stronger as a runner, getting more like bang for your buck with each stride. I think that's where the VO2 max really helps. Is it that different than the kind of thing that you could do with incorporating strides into the end of your easy runs every day? I don't know. For a marathoner, I'm not sure it's all that different from like a form and skeletal-muscular perspective. But I do think that there's like a power number. And the reason why I like the VO2 max comes from my realization that like, you know what? My cadence isn't that different from like an elite runner's cadence. Not to say that I have elite level cadence, but like, yes, I'm not at the ideal 180 steps per minute when I'm at race pace, but I'm not terribly far off of it. The difference in my cadence does not explain why an elite marathoner can run 5-minute miles and I have a hard time with 7-minute miles, right? For my marathon. That's not the difference. I don't think that's it. And so I think that there's I think we're having some internet issues, guys. Sorry. And so I think that part of what I need to do is become more powerful or explosive with each one. And that's where I think the VO2 max work kind of comes in. So that's my take on it. All right. Again, a lot of me rambling today, guys. Sorry. But, Frank, I think but on the other hand, I think for a lot of people, working on base mileage is probably the most important thing they could do for their marathon training for a lot of people. I think that kind of like going off of what Frank is saying, that VO2 max is a waste of time for marathon training. I think most people, when they're doing their first couple of marathons, they worry too much about speed work. Where just like, you'd be better off if on that day you had a medium length long run on a Wednesday or on a Tuesday, and then also had a really good long run on the weekend. Like, I think that probably would do better for a lot of people. But I feel like I'm kind of nearing the max of my potential here. So I'm at like the marginal gains point, I think. So like I've tried higher mileage and it hasn't necessarily helped me. So I feel like I figured out what mileage works for my body and my age, I think. But so I feel like now I'm on like, all right, now how do I make each step worth more? Because I know how to get there across the line, but how do I make each step more potent? Sai says, any tips for not fatiguing so quickly? Run more. Run more is like almost always my answer. It builds your aerobic base. And then the other thing that I was just thinking about today is I really like the threshold workouts that I do, because I think like working for longer periods at threshold, some people will do like 20-minute bursts at threshold, and I feel like every once in a while that's fine, but that's really grueling. It's really hard. But I think that doing that, getting deep into some reps at threshold pace, really work your body in terms of like being able to perform at I felt like that's what helped me keep going towards the half marathon last weekend and keep going at that slightly faster pace and still feeling really strong, is that I've done those threshold repeats. And so like lots of time at threshold, lots of time at easy pace, just running more miles. That's what I think in 2 ways. Vivek Bala says, when he trains, he usually goes by goal paces since I've just gotten on the running wagon and haven't really completed in any races to know for sure. Yeah, no problem with that. I think that there's, I think that there's a part of running that doesn't let people experiment. And I feel like, people are like, no, here's what you got to do. Everyone's telling you like what to do. After I just told Sai that he should just run threshold and easy. But like, there's a lot of people that are telling you what to do, and you should look at heart rate, or you shouldn't look at heart rate. You should get a watch, or you absolutely shouldn't get a watch, that kind of stuff. But, figure out what works for you, and it's okay to experiment. I think that's part of the fun. I think that's one of the reasons why I don't want to get a coach. I think I need a coach. I could use some coaching. But the way I see it, like coaching, like for swimming, I'm going to get a coach for sure. I want someone to help me to do it. I don't want to try to have to like struggle and figure things out my own. For the cycling, I don't know if I need a coach. I think I might just like, like if there's workouts that are on Zwift, maybe I'll just do whatever the workouts tell me to do, kind of thing. Like I'm happy to like, oh, my watch suggested a workout for the bike today. I'll do that. So I don't, but like I'll like do whatever. But for running, like that's something that I want to figure out on my own. I want to mess around. I want to tinker. I want to experiment. I like thinking about running. So like that's kind of like, I think part of the joys of it. I equate it to like when people get like those boxes, like Blue Apron, where like everything's like pretty much pre-cut and it's shipped to your house, and you don't have to shop for the ingredients or pick anything. You get like a placard, and it tells you what the dish is going to be, and there's pictures and instructions and all that. And at the end of it, you'll have like a delicious meal. I don't like that kind of stuff, because like I like cooking. I like to mess around with the ingredients. It might not be great, but I like the act of it. I like the thinking about it part, So that's kind of like, how I feel about coaching. And I think that people should be encouraged to kind of experiment with how they're training. All right. Patrick Funk says, popping in to say a quick hello. Been a while since I caught the live stream. Well, he's been watching it, but I guess you call it a live because he got it in air quotes. Happy face emoji. Love it. It says, hope everyone is safe and healthy. Good to see you, Patrick. Leona says, if you ever want to try a coach, Martha's is really good, and it's mine too. I mean, I've heard good things from Martha about her coach. And Chan says, this week has been nuts. Thank goodness it's Friday. I think that's funny because it's Thursday for us here in the U.S. I don't know where you are, Ed. If you're in the U.S., then that's a very, very funny comment. Let's see. And Ray Sellers, Happy Jogger says, agreed. It has been a week. It has been a week. I'm finally catching up. Today's video is coming a little bit late. It's rendering now, but it'll get uploaded after the live stream today. I submitted my updated draft for that other brand project that I was doing. Hopefully stuff will come out soon. But I sent it through like a sending service because it's a large file. Doing the work has just dominated all my time. Like, I've made dinner for the kids, but I was like to my wife, like, you got to fend for yourself. I don't got time to make like an adult dinner too. Because I do frequently make different stuff. Usually there's like some sort of variation, or I like, what do they call it? Deconstruct a meal. And so that way the kids can have the ingredients they want in it, and the adults can reconstruct it. But I just told my wife the past couple of nights, like, you're going to have to be on your own. Find something in the fridge, please, because I got work to do. But I think we're past like the worst of it, so I'm going to do some catch up. But yeah, it has been a week for me too. Adam says, I think part of what's often missing as an older runner is doing speed work in a group setting. Mike got so much faster training with Nike for the Chicago Marathon 2019. His halftime was incredible. Yeah, I looked at it the other day. I always thought that I was like just under 127. So I've been going around thinking I was a 127 guy, but the time was 126.11. So I'm almost a 125 guy, really. So yeah, I mean, yeah, training with the group is a lot of fun. The training that we did for the Nike with the Nike group was definitely like a mix. There was a lot of very complicated workouts, which that works for a lot of people with a lot of variety. People like it. I didn't like it. I like workouts that are like 6 by 6 minutes at threshold, 1 minute recoveries. That's the workout. But a lot of the workouts were like, you know, we're going to do ladders. So like a 400, 800, 1200, 800, 400, that kind of stuff at different paces. And that's just hard for me to do. But in a group, I guess, it was fun to be able to do that with other people. And that one, I definitely did get a lot faster doing that work. So I was doing a lot of VO2 max work during that stretch. And I think part of that was the coach had looked at my kind of running mileage and was like, oh, you run mostly easy and some threshold. So let's put some VO2 max in there. And so like, that's kind of like looking at that's kind of how I've constructed this kind of mini block that I went through for Chicago, with Wednesdays are, VO2 max day, Fridays are threshold day, and Saturdays are marathon pace days. So for the or Sundays. So Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Sunday for the long runs with some marathon paces in there, longer blocks of it. So I could kind of have like 3 kind of like gears. So that's kind of how I put it together. And running in a group definitely helps. Mario Fraioli talked about it a lot. He had Peter Bromka on his podcast this week, which was a great conversation if you guys caught that one. And Mario was like talking about like how he really just enjoyed getting together with his group of friends on Wednesday mornings to do the workouts. I think he said that like that was his favorite part of the whole training, even though he doesn't love marathon training. He really loved like the group workouts. And I was thinking about that too, and it's just like, just to be at a situation where people just show up and throw down once a week, it's kind of nice. I feel like it's a good way to bond as well, but also like helps other people carry, helps with carrying the load a lot too. And I don't know why, but that made me think about, did you guys see Athlete Specials getting dropped from the Brooks Beasts? They made a very nice post about it, in terms of how the departure is happening. But yeah, Athlete Special is not going to be running with the Brooks Beasts anymore. I think he had a 1-year contract, is how it was originally set up anyway. So I didn't anticipate it being a long-term thing. But doesn't look like, I don't know, does that mean he's not training with Brooks at all anymore, or just not with that group? I don't know what that means, but that just popped in my mind. Tim says, I'd never be able to run 80 plus miles per week without a group to run with. Virtually every run I do is in a group. Wow, Tim, that's a lot of miles. Crazy. And Ronnie Zeller says, speed work. I'm the happy jogger. I just found out the neighborhood that I live in Chicago is Lakeview. I just found out there's a Lakeview Run Club. They meet at my kid's school on Tuesdays in the evenings. Because I was looking at their Instagram and I'm like, I know where that is. Because I didn't know what account it was. But I was like, I know where that photo's taken from. Who are these guys? I didn't recognize any of the people in there, but it was a large group of people that all clearly live near me and are getting together to run multiple times a week. Well, I think they have one like structured run a week, and then some of them get together on Saturdays. But I was like, who are these guys? It's kind of weird. It's like a bizarro universe of runners. Zainandan Ramasetti says, what are better supplements for recovery for long distance running, specifically for knee and joint health? I think the best supplement for knee and joint health is mobility work. And I say that kind of joking, but that's really what you want to do. It's not about what you're eating. That's not it. If you're having some knee and joint kind of like issues or discomfort, it's about how you're moving. And so like, I think that getting in, stretching is one way of putting it, but like, I don't really think of what I'm doing as stretching. I'm doing kind of like body weight squats, single leg lunges, single leg deadlifts. I guess I always say single leg lunges, but lunges are always single leg. But lunges, reverse lunges, single leg deadlifts, and then side lunges. I think that's kind of like my routine. And I do that before every run. Activates the glutes, make sure that your hips are nice and open and moving. And I think that's the best thing. That being said, if you do want to like do some supplements for it afterwards, I think there's some divided opinion on how important anti-inflammatories are, or whether they're important or if they hurt. But like, whenever I eat, if I eat yogurt with some granola, I always like to put some chia seeds in there. We have ground chia seeds at home my wife buys. She puts them in smoothies, and I put them on top of my yogurt. I like that. So things that have anti-inflammatory properties can be helpful. I take if I can remember it, I take a vegan collagen gummy. And I also make sure I get in protein right after the run. So that way, once like after the run, the body senses damage, from the run, and it wants to rebuild. And so I always want to make sure that it's got like, I think of it as kind of like expediting, making sure everything is there right when it needs it so I can use it kind of right away. So those are some of the things that I do. I don't do too many things. Eliza says, I usually run alone because my runs start at 4 a.m. I mean, that's the main reason why I'm not really like a run club kind of person, is that like, I don't, I got to be efficient with my time. Like I can't like go over to the meeting spot and you don't want to get there at the last minute. So you got to get there early. You wait for everyone to assemble, then you get going, and they usually meet up afterwards too and hit some of the local restaurants and bars. And there are quite a bit in that area. And I'm like, oh, I'd like to do that. But I'm also like, I don't want to be inside with a big group of people. Not yet. Anyway, still uncomfortable with that a little bit. So, but I'm definitely with you guys on that. Like, I'm just not a run club kind of person. Except for the Kofuzi Run Club, of course. But that's virtual, so that's the thing. Oh, and Eliza's volunteering at the finish. That's fun. How do you get to do that? That's awesome. I want to volunteer at a finish line. Sai wants to know how many calories I consume a day. I have no idea. I don't count. During really intense bouts of training, I will try to get in between, I count protein. The carbs, I feel like they take care of themselves. And I usually let hunger be my guide. If I try to minimize the amount of junk food in the house and I eat when I'm hungry, then I think I'm usually it's a good kind of way of like letting things take care of themselves. But like, because I'm mostly plant-based, I do try to keep some sort of tabs on how much protein I'm getting per day. And there's a formula somewhere. I forget what it comes out to in terms of like how many grams of protein you should be getting per kilogram of weight. I remember when I looked at it, it was somewhere near like 100 grams of protein for my weight. I'm 143 pounds. I don't know how many. I think that's like, I don't know how many. I really have no idea how many kilograms that is. So like, I don't know if my math's real wrong, but 100 is a nice round number for me to shoot for. So I kind of look for that just to make sure that like my muscles have what they need to rebuild after the workouts. Matthew Cunningham wants to know, any new trainers on the way? And I don't know what IEUM means. But new trainers? No, I don't think I have anything new in the pipeline. I have some that already got here that I haven't looked at yet, that I probably won't get to before the Chicago Marathon, just because I'm in the taper now. I'm not really going to be doing anything new. I did a bunch of like first run videos like in the last couple of weeks, just so that I could hurry up and like run in those shoes for the last couple of weeks of Chicago Marathon training. But nothing new coming in right now. I'll probably get the Audio 6 after Chicago as I start getting ready for CIM. So, that kind of thing. But other than that, a lot of using the shoes that I have now and really putting some fun miles into them. I'm really looking forward to the CIM training block. Trevor Holtzman says, what number Chicago Marathon is this for you? Legacy yet? I think I am, because I think I've done 4. I did 17, 18, and 19. So I think this 20 would have been the 4th one. Isn't that, if you run 3, or is it 3 or more, or if it's 4 or more, you get it? I don't know. Yeah, so I think I'm at legacy status. Right? I'm trying to think. How did I got my bib. I don't think I got my bib from legacy status. I think I got it from good for time, good for age. I think that's how I got it last time. So. 76 says, 1 stone equals 1 pound. 14 pounds. I do know that, but I also have no idea how many stones I am. So I'm sure I could just do the math and figure out 143 in kilos, but it's more effort than I think it's worth right now. Jameson Murphy says, do you use a Theragun? I don't use a Theragun, but today's video is going to be about massage guns. So I'm comparing two massage guns from Bob and Brad, the most famous physical therapists on the internet. So it's one of those videos that doesn't get a lot of pop right away, but it's kind of evergreen-ish. So anytime someone like searches for Bob and Brad massage gun, they'll see it. So that's kind of one of those. I've had it for like a month. I've been using it for the last month. It's pretty good. But I also have another Bob and Brad massage gun that I also really like. So yeah, so I use it. I prefer the massage gun to the foam roller. The foam roller, it just, I don't know. I don't use either one every day, but I would rather use a massage gun than a foam roller any day. There's not a ton of stuff that I feel like that the foam roller does specifically well, that a massage gun can't. Maybe one or two things. But yeah, I don't know. Jeff Elliott says, I'm also a mostly plant-based runner, so 2,500 to 4,000 calories is physically significant amount of food. Yeah, I know the feeling. You got to eat a lot of food to do that. And so like I constantly feel like I'm just like prowling the kitchen for like something to eat. So, and then, you know, late at night, I've been, probably because of stress, but also probably because, you know, I'm coming off of peak week and tapering and stuff like that now. And the body's just like, all right, let's start building. We've got a second here. But I've just been wanting really salty foods and things that are crunchy. I want chips at night. Give me potato chips. So I think I just need more salt. Andrew Pazza says, thanks for the super chat, Andrew. Says, strict periods are usually winter for northerners, summer for southerners. Race season is spring and fall, and anaerobics are a bunch of races. Appreciate you. Yeah, that makes sense. Because that's when the weather's bad, you know. And race season is spring and fall. It's nice. But I also love the idea that, like, the United States, I mean, I don't mind travel abroad, and hopefully I can do some of that next year. But, like, the United States is big enough that you can make it race season all year round if you really wanted to. Yeah, I appreciate you too, Andrew. Thanks, though. I love that. I love that, like the idea of like when the strict can be. All right, let's do a couple more, and then I gotta get going for it. I gotta get that video uploaded, and I gotta pick up the kids. I gotta buy some dog food too. Oh. See all the stuff that I've been putting off all week. Ooh, Eliza said, I can't wait for the video. I've been saving for a massage gun. The R8 has not been cut. The R8 is that weird thing, right? It looks like a giant spider, and it's got all those things on it, and then it like goes on both sides of your leg. That thing, you don't like that? I don't know. I thought people loved those things. That's interesting. Martha says, every single night I crave toast made from whole grain sourdough that we buy at the farmer's market with a little butter on it. That's a very specific craving. What do you think that means? You think you need the fat? You think you need what is your body telling you with that? You think you need the carbs? I don't know. That's interesting. What else do you guys crave at night when you're marathon training, guys? I'll love to hear that. Maybe we'll start tomorrow off with that. You guys think about it. Think about your answers. The first one that comes to mind, the real answer, you can edit it a little bit, and then tomorrow you can come with the one that you're a little bit less embarrassed about. But if you want to bring your embarrassing like late night marathon training cravings, I'd love to hear that. Let's do that tomorrow. All right, guys. Let's save that for tomorrow. You guys are bringing it already, but let's save it for tomorrow because I think that's gonna be fun, and that'll be a good like taper conversation to have. I did watch that Serious Runner taper video, by the way, and I'm trying to make a taper video, but I don't know how to make a taper video that now doesn't step right into that kind of like lampooning that Serious Runner did. It's just like now it's like life imitating parody imitating life. You know what I mean? I don't know. That guy. so funny, but sometimes it's like too close to home. Pretty much every time it's like too close to home. All right. Anyway, I'll stop rambling, and I'm going to get today's video uploaded. It's going to be about 2 different Bob and Brad massage guns, comparing them head to head. And then tomorrow we'll do another live stream. And then I don't know if there'll be another video tomorrow morning too. I think we'll have to see. I'll have to see. But even if there isn't a video tomorrow morning, we'll do another live stream. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I see you then. In the meantime, take care, everybody. Thanks.